We'll get on into the kitchen where I have got not one, but two canners out on the shelf. And one of them is my pressure canner. I'm going to do my beans in it. And then this is my Instant Pot. And apparently I can pressure cook in this. And I can actually do on a low pressure, this one is like 5.6 to 7 point something. And the high pressure is 10 point something to 11.6. So I'm not going to actually pressure can in here because this one is not rated for pressure canning. This guy over here, this Nesco, this is rated for pressure canning. It's good for both water bath canning and high pressure canning and pressure cooking and slow cooking and browning and all that stuff. This one does most of that, but not the pressure canning. So anyway, I'm going to hit saute on this. I've got it on high. I've got 7 little half-pint jars in there. I don't think I'd want to go much bigger than a half-pint. These are about an inch underwater, and I'm at my full level. So I would not, I don't think, want to go with a larger jar in this. But luckily, I'm doing some bread and butter pickles, and we're not huge pickle eaters in this house. So I think doing them in a half-pint size is probably the best way for us to actually use them up. So thank goodness, just 2 more weeks before I can get a haircut. Anyway, thanks for popping in. You know I appreciate you every single time that you're here, and I'm really glad that you're here. So, let's start. Because it is canning, I am following a recipe because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I've never canned pickles before. I've never made bread and butter pickles before. So I found a recipe and it had 5 stars and it is on daringgourmet.com, homemade bread and butter pickles. And I tried slicing on my mandolin, but as you know, that didn't work. My mandolin, my slicer, it slices too thin, or my pickles were, well, I used my English cucumbers, right? Because my other ones aren't ready yet. Anyway, what the recipe says is to put everything into my stock pot, and I can't see my phone over there. I want to make sure that you're seeing this today. I know that I've had some issues with the camera angles before. So anyway, I put all of my gunk in here, and now, oops, I want 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. La da 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 da. So I could have poured this beforehand, eh? Oopsie, sorry. So tell me a little about yourself down there in the comments. Leave me a fabulous message. So I have to use this giant pot here because my next biggest one would not hold all of this. So I need to get a mid-sized pot because this thing is kind of a pain in the patootie to use. So then it says 3 cups of sugar. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to turn it on to a 6 because I know I'm going to have to bring it to a boil, and I'm going to give it a stir. Come on. You know, I think this might be more than, actually this is closer to 4 pounds of cucumbers. as opposed to 2 pounds of cucumbers. So I might need to add, because I think I want this to be covered, I'm gonna double up my recipe right now. Because having too much brine is the worst thing that's gonna happen, and I can always can up extra brine, right? But if I don't have enough, then I'm kind of messed up. So here we go again. We're gonna go 2 more cups of apple cider vinegar. And I don't know, do I need 3 more cups of sugar? How sweet do I want these? I might just go 2 more cups of sugar. Or do you have to? I guess I better follow it exactly. The herbs and spices, I don't think it matters quite so much. But the vinegar-sugar ratio, I believe, is quite important. So, of course, I'm not an expert canner, so I'm going to say that 1,000 times because I barely know what I'm doing. So there you have it. But, so I've just doubled that. Let's give it another stir. That looks better. Like I said, if I have some sweet brine left over, that's fine. I've got cucumbers out there that are going crazy, so I might be doing these in a dill next. Well, so that won't help with that, but I wonder how that would taste with some dill in it. Anyway, I'm going to bring this up to a boil. I mean, oh, my spices. I should throw my spices in. Okay, so this is 1 teaspoon of celery seeds. So I'm going to put in 2. And if you have not used your hand as a measuring tool before, when I first started cooking way back when, at least 35 years ago or more, 40 years ago. Anyway, yeah, I'm old. So when I first started cooking, though, I would measure things and then put them in my hand and see how much it filled up my hand. And you need to do that for your own hands because my hands are not the same size as yours. So anyway, 1 tablespoon of brown mustard seed. I have yellow mustard seed, but that's what we're using because that's what I have. I'll throw that in there. And then it says 4 allspice berries, and I don't actually have allspice berries. I have, oh, this has gone off. I've got it in here, bubbling. I'm just going to hit saute again. And it'll keep going. I might turn it down to, oops, less, because now it's been boiling for about 20 minutes. I'm just going to let that cool down now. Well, where am I going to put this? My kitchen is a disaster. Anyway, I'm going to throw in, it calls for 4 allspice berries. And if I'm doubling that, that would be 8. And so I'm going to throw in 1/4 teaspoon and a little bit. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're calling it. And then it says 4 cloves. I don't like a super strong clove flavor in anything, so I'm just going to use, ooh, not that many. I'm going to go with 5. And then what else does it say? 2 bay leaves. I've got some really big bay leaves here, so I'm just going with 1. And let's give that a stir. Oh yes, that looks delicious. Okay, and then it also calls for a little bit of turmeric, which I haven't dried yet, but I do have some fresh in the fridge, so I'm gonna go grab that and my grater, and I'll be right back. And here we go. Calls for a half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon? Quarter teaspoon. And of course our fresh is so pungent and wonderful. But I think that it's also stronger than dried, so we won't put quite as much in. We're going to give that a good stir. I hope you can see this yumminess. And we're going to bring it up to a boil. I'm actually going to increase the heat a little bit so we can get it boiling a little faster. And so yeah, I've turned up the heat a little bit, and we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to let it simmer for 10 minutes. I keep banging you on the hood. I hope that you're actually seeing what I'm seeing. Sorry, I don't mean to bang you on the hood. I've been simmering for, I brought it to a boil, and then now I've been simmering for a little over 10 minutes. And I'm going to see if I can't find that bay leaf in there. I'll have to watch for it. I don't want it to end up in a jar. Anyway, so I've got my hot jars out of my container, and I'm going to strain. Oops, let's get this on here. Strain some of these out. And then I will add my headspace or my liquid afterwards. Alrighty, everything is filled. There is a 1/2 inch of headspace in all of my jars. I got 3 and a little with pickles in them. And then I got 3 brine, and I've got a bowl full of brine left as well. So I will be canning it later. I'll probably put it into some of those, what is it, 1.5 pints jars that I have. Now I'm going to try and wipe all the edges off. This is just some white vinegar on here. Helps to keep everything clean and tidy. And it lets it seal. If you don't do this, your jars won't seal. And that you don't want. That I'm doing. I just need to water bath can these. They don't need to be pressure canned. They're pickles. So apparently the acid in them allows you to process them at the lower temperature that a pressure cooker will go to. Now this pressure cooker actually says in the overview that it goes to 10 point something PSA on the up to 11.6 PSI. Sorry. It goes from 10 point something up to 11.6 PSI. So with me being at ground level, I could technically pressure can with this. Now I'm not going to, because this pot is not rated for pressure canning. So I won't do that. However, I am going to give it a shot as a water bath canner. I have a whole passel of beans in the refrigerator right now, and they need to go into the pressure canner. They can't be water bath canned unless I want to spend like 3 hours doing it, which I'm not going to do. So anyway, let's get the lid on here. Oh, I guess I got to put it on the right way. Set the pressure limiting valve to airtight. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. All right, so we are airtight, and I'm going to hit pressure cook. I've got it on high pressure, and I'm going to go up to 20 minutes, and I'm going to cancel the keep warm. And now it's going to do its thing. It's going to bring it up to a boil. And when it reaches that boil, it will start counting down its 20 minutes. So yeah, I'll be back in about 20 minutes. We've stopped steaming and my little button has gone down. So let's give it a try. Okay, so my pressure has released and I'm going to open it away from myself. That comes right off, which I totally forgot. And I'm going to try and get these out of here. I might try with this thing for the first one. Come on. Phew. And then I might be able to use this for the rest of them. Now I'm told, don't tip. Don't tip your jugs because you're not sealed yet. Oh, there goes one. That's a good sign. But if you tip it, something could get up under the seal and it could pop open. I did lose quite a lot through steam there, but like I see, I'm not completely covered here. Oh, there goes number 2. 3. 4. 5. Looks like I might have had a little bit of siphoning in there. I can see some little bits of stuff and my water looks a little discolored, so that could be why these two aren't sealing. I'm just gonna leave everything there and da-da-da-da! I've made bread and butter pickles, fresh from the garden. Well, there you have some beautiful bread and butter pickles. So I guess that was pretty good for a first attempt at those. I got a few jars that sealed and then my brine all sealed. So yeah, and I'm all ready. The next time I go out and harvest some cucumbers, I am ready to make some more. And I think I can probably use that brine, that sweet brine, for other things too that call for a sweet brine. And I hear that it's really good for marinating barbecue with. So you never know, we just might try that again. Anyway, thank you for coming and hanging out with me in the kitchen today. I do appreciate it. I do have other stuff going on. I am going to pull that actual pressure canner out. And there is a difference between the pressure cooker or the Instant Pot and the smart canner or pressure canner. The Instant Pot is fine for doing a water bath can because all you need to do with that is keep the water above the jars and keep it boiling at a consistent boil for your set amount of time. So as long as you're doing that with your water bath, then you're good. So the Instant Pot works fine for that. However, it is not a pressure canner, and so you can't do, is it low acid foods that you can't do, that you have to pressure can? If you have to pressure can it, meats, some vegetables, all that, you can't do it in your Instant Pot. You have to get yourself a pressure canner. So there is only one that I know of in Canada anyway, and that's the Nesco pressure canner, and I will throw a link down there in the bottom in case that's what you're looking for. I got it for 2 reasons. It does small batch canning, which, you know, I'm lucky if I get 4 cans of something out of the garden at one time, and I like to can it right fresh. So my garden is pretty small. This is the first year I've ever done canning, and actually it's my first garden too. I have tried to garden before and failed miserably, so I am just tickled pink that I'm actually getting stuff out of my garden and being able to put it up. So anyway, thank you for coming and hanging out. Have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you soon. Bye now.